Hi, welcome to the stream after like I don't know how many weeks. I think it's been 3 weeks. Oh my god. It feels so good to be back. It also doesn't really feel that good to be back because I actually enjoy not streaming because less stress and all, but more stress on other things in life. Hi Kim, welcome to the stream. Hi Harry, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you too. LIFC is the Little Island FurCon. It's a little furry convention that was held in Singapore on 10th and 11th June 2023, and yeah, it's been about 12 days or something. Yeah. Good afternoon, evening, I don't know. It's 4 hours past noon, so yeah, I wanted to stream this stream like 10 days ago, but I wasn't really in the mood, and also I was dealing with some other admin matters such as uni admission and also other things such as life. Okay. LIFC is not very busy. I just kind of need to take a break from the social what's that, tiredness, I don't know what's it, no, like to take a break from socializing. Yeah, that will well actually. Harry, have been dealing with my finals ridiculous timetable. I see. Oh, by the way, I did not change my I added some filters and something, so my voice should sound slightly deeper, hopefully. And I think it's more sensitive now, and so you should be able to also hear more of my background noise, but not so much of it. But I hope to reduce more of that in future, but for now it's just like this. Harry, funny story. What's the funny thing? There's this sentence that an invigilator has to say, put all your stationery you need to use on your desk, and what, you put everything? Oh, I forgot about the stream elements timed messages. I forgot to like reduce the timer, and not reduce, increase the timer so that it doesn't send so often. And the teacher say put all the stationery you need to use on your desk. And I see the sentence is the same. Since I think I'm first, or I don't know, but I'll give you a first reward. Thanks for redeeming first. It's deck. Oh, deck. On your deck, not desk. Deck. Wait, what's deck? Stream deck or something. Apparently I have to put all my stationery on the deck of a ship. I'm pretty sure no one else caught this, or did everyone somehow laugh? Well, I mean, it's not that big of a mistake, it's just one word. That was an almost impossible try not to laugh challenge for me. Right, because you noticed the mistake very quickly or something. I see. Well, after the exam, exam or test? After the exam, did you like ask your classmates or something about the mistake that your teacher made? Did they catch it too? They were all aware of the mistake anyway. Okay, so they are as sharp as you. Oh, okay, you didn't have to tell them. Like, they were discussing about it after the paper, and everyone's talking about it or something. Okay, bye Kim. I have to go because I have dance practice to perform at school on Monday. Bye Kim, good luck with your dance practice on Monday. Wait, what's the day today? It's Wednesday, isn't it? Wait, is it Wednesday or Thursday? My brain's not working. It's Thursday, yes, it's Thursday. Okay, thanks for coming. And have fun with your dance practice on Monday. Yeah, kinda. Right, thanks. Isn't it like a bit 4, 5, 6, 9? Isn't it like 4 days to Monday? Starting from hopefully next week or next week onwards, I should be streaming more study streams and less gaming streams. I mean, I haven't really been streaming recently, but if I want to stream, it would be more study streams because uni and all, I kind of need to study and can't really play much games. I mean, other than fishing in Destiny 2, that'll be cool. I would love to do that more. Plus, I haven't really been fishing. I kind of really got 500 bait and haven't really got the time to fish. So that'll be a nice break from studies, I guess. Oh my god, I might actually picked out the sound of my chair creaking. Wait, what if I crack my fingers? Yes, okay. You can hear it, okay. Damn. By the way, for the videos watching today, it's gonna be Destiny 2 videos. Well, it's more like the videos that are the long form videos that I want to watch, but I kind of want to watch it on stream because, well, I guess it's more interesting to watch. They're like half an hour long each or something. Yeah. And before anyone asks, I'm using Google Chrome for this thing because Opera GX is very laggy for some reason. Apparently more laggy than Google Chrome, surprisingly. I don't use Firefox. Is Firefox less laggy? Also, to be honest, that Surfshark affiliate link is kind of outdated. I think. I don't think it still works. Does it still work? Let me just... Nope, don't open up projects. How do I copy link? Yes. Oh, right, don't do that. How do I copy link? I have no idea how to do that in a Twitch chat. Oh, it still works. That's surprising. I thought it's meant to only be available in May, but apparently it also works in June and beyond. That's nice. Anyways, let's watch videos. Where is my screen? Oh my goodness. Awesome. I hope you'll be able to hear it because I'm not sure if you can hear it. Nice.
Don't shoot taken blights like this, jump on top of them and it makes you immune to damage. From using the wrong ghost mods to even jumping incorrectly, here are 70 more things you might be doing wrong in Destiny 2. Number 70 is not shooting the void tornadoes that are created by tormentors. The void tornadoes unleash all these crazy waves that deal a ton of damage, but you can completely counter them by just shooting them and making them fly away to stop bothering you. Hit the like button if you did. Just shooting them and making them fly away to stop bothering you. Hit the like button if you didn't know this. Don't you hate those annoying Vex who put up their immunity shields to regenerate all their health? Well, it turns out there's a way to completely prevent them from ever doing this. If you hit their heads, they will lose their ability to put up a shield or heal. Instead of holding down the button to open the director, it's faster to just tap the inventory and then director button. This will open up your map or director instantly and save you a bit of extra time. If you find yourself dying a lot to ships like Threshers or dropships,
the fact that I actually don't press and hold the tab for director because I don't like using my ring finger and tap it and pressing and holding, so I just kind of like press. I kind of set keybinds for going to quest page and map and all that stuff.
Chances are you're doing something wrong. You can easily counter most ships or dropships. Chances are you're doing something wrong. You can easily counter most ships by shooting their missiles out of the air, and you can also completely destroy the weapons on both Cabal and Fallen dropships by simply doing enough damage to them. When fighting against taken enemies, a lot of players tend to aim down sights because, well, that's what most of us do without even thinking about it. However, due to a strange mechanic, it's actually best to only hip fire when you're fighting against the Taken. But before we talk about that, take a look at this cool new animated series. If you're a fan of adventure shows or anything,
skip.
Hall of the
No,
Arbiter today
no,
adds
stop,
the
stop,
action pack,
no,
and
not
you'll also
watching
get a
ad.
bonus
No.
starter pack with the amazing loot that you can see here. I think you guys will really love the new animated series and all of the champions waiting for you in the game. So the
Ad
reason why
blocker,
you
but
don't
I
want to
still
aim down
can
sights
see
when fighting the
ads.
Taken is because they seem to teleport much less often when you're hip firing, and even if that isn't the case, it's still much easier to track them and switch between targets when you're not aiming down sights. I've seen a lot of people make mistakes when leveling crafted weapons and completing catalyst objectives. What you should be doing is playing on a hunter with the Shadow Shot Deadfall super. Then simply hit one enemy with your weapon and you will cause all of the tethered enemies to die. And the best part is, every single enemy that dies will give you progress on your weapon. Even if you're not a hunter main, it's definitely worth swapping to your hunter for this strategy. Also, if you have access to it, Shuro-chi in the last Wish raid is still the most efficient way to farm. If you want a checkpoint, just join our Discord because we have access to bots that are constantly holding important checkpoints, including Shuro-chi. If you're still going into your collections and individually marking stuff as seen, you're kind of doing it wrong. You can simply mark everything as seen all at once from the main collections menu. The next thing you might be doing wrong is looking up your PvP opponents before you play them. Please don't do this, it will really just lead to you being intimidated by their stats, and then you'll start playing scared, which will negatively impact your performance. Just approach each game with confidence, and if you lose, that's totally fine. Destiny has a setting called Full Auto, and I can't really think of a reason why you wouldn't want to turn this on. You can just hold down the trigger forever.
I feel like full auto firing is only on the controller, because I don't remember seeing this on my keyboard setting.
And it works with every single weapon in the game. And while you're there, you might also want to turn on full auto melee, especially if you use something.
Unless this is a new setting that I did not see. Wait, when was the video uploaded? 2 weeks ago.
Like a glaive. Speaking of glaives, you're making a mistake if you're not holding down the shield button while attacking. Believe it or not, it will actually make you swing your glaive much faster than normal, and this is a huge advantage. If you have more than one class item, just go ahead and delete them. Class items do not have any unique properties other than the minor exception of raid armor, so in most cases there isn't a reason to keep more than one class item per class. Whatever you do, definitely do not ever store class items in your vault because that's just a total waste of space. Instead of opening up your inventory to check the progress on your exotic catalysts, simply pull out your ghost and you can track it from there. To set this up, go to your triumph section and then select whatever objective you are working on. Something a lot of people do wrong in every FPS game is focusing too much on their crosshair instead of on the target. According to widely accepted aiming theory for gaming, it's better to fixate on the target. Sometimes people go around searching for a scannable item and they really struggle to find it. However, the ultimate solution here is to just pull out your ghost because he will look in the direction of the scannable and guide you straight to it. For whatever reason, players love to swap their weapons over and over and spam the swap button like this. However, doing this is actually a huge mistake with potentially devastating consequences. We actually tested this in one of my Mythbuster videos, and it turns out that swapping your weapons like this can temporarily jam them and make them refuse to shoot, which can easily lead to your death, especially in PvP. Because this is my second channel and it's still very new, a mistake that 98.3% of you are making is
Nope, next.
if you're not hitting level 100 every season, make sure that you're using the 12% XP bonus mod on your ghost, and I'd also encourage you to consider bounty multitasking. It's pretty easy to just pick up a few extra bounties every day and complete them when you do random activities, and you'll gain so much extra experience over time from doing this. Also, this next one should help you accomplish this. If you're still walking around to pick up bounties from all the vendors, there's a way to do it much more efficiently using orbit. For some reason, a lot of players, myself included, naturally want to hold the forward button while driving a Sparrow. Unfortunately though, this does absolutely nothing, so you might as well break this useless habit. I see a lot of people out there who don't pay attention to game sounds, or they just don't hear them because they have their music or dialogue set way too high. Contrary to popular belief, there are some really important sound cues in this game, especially when you're playing in the Crucible. From invisibility to super activation to even super deactivation sounds, there are some essential sound effects that top players will always pay attention to, and you probably should too. Do not use stasis on suspended enemies. I wish this wasn't true, but unfortunately freezing an enemy will unsuspend them. So if you have a teammate using Strand, you might want to consider not using stasis. If your fire team is using more than one Wither Horde, you guys are doing it wrong. The damage over time does not stack more than once, so you're basically missing out on a ton of damage if you have multiple players using it. The maximum damage Wither Horde can do is one direct impact and one pool beneath the enemy. A lot of newer Destiny players are really resistant to using third-party apps, and in my book, this is a pretty big mistake. Stuff like Destiny Item Manager and D3 better. Few seconds. Speaking of stats, I see a lot of people making extremely bad choices when it comes to their stat distributions and layouts. Their stats look like this, and they are wasting a ton of extra stat points. Like, you really don't want your stat numbers to be ending with 9 or 8 or something, because anything less than a multiple of 10 doesn't help you. Also, running low resilience in PvE is almost always a mistake, since the damage resilience in PvE. 80.
Okay, wait, this video kind of feels like a rant for some reason. How about this video? I don't know. Probably it's less of a rant. I feel like it's also a rant.
It's 10 years of delivering memorable moments that stand out in gaming. This channel has dedicated the better part of 3 years covering those times and remembering when Bungie hit the nail on the head. But what about when they don't? With the paradigm shift in the eyes of fans that Bungie has been making a lot more mistakes, I figured it was about time we talk about the progressively worse mistakes that changed the course of Destiny history. The mistakes that changed Destiny forever. These will get progressively worse, but I think you know which one will be talked about as the biggest mistake late into the video. Some of these have been forgotten in Destiny's lineage, but some will never be forgotten. To prepare you for a bunch of painful mistakes, I want to show off a game that surprises me with depth and a loot chase I know Destiny doing the Worldline 0. And code right here and get a
What's with every YouTuber talking about this game?
Giving players access to speeds the way they always imagined. Worldline 0 became a core part of players' loadouts from the time of release in the Warmind DLC through Shadowkeep's launch, and was even propelled further when Bungie gave Warlocks an Icarus dash in the update to Solar in the Season of Dawn, with a double dash even. This is what a lot of speedrunners consider the golden age of speedrunning, with double dash, worldline, sword skating in general, mountaintop climbing, and more. Clips like these all came from this era.
Right. Cool stuff.
Bungie came in with a change to swords in the way that the heavy attack energy was used. And with this, Worldline skating was dead. The reasoning was never made fully clear, but a community manager just said that the speedrun community will need to find new ways to break the sound barrier. It would take all the way until Eager Edge was introduced in 30th anniversary for movement to reach anywhere close to the same level, which also indicated that Bungie knew nerfing Worldline Zero's movement tech was a mistake, and let everyone enjoy it in the future. Sometimes mistakes have happy endings. Some mistakes are not happy endings, however, as Bungie absolutely nailed hard mode raids in Destiny 1, and even started off Destiny 2 with some new ideas, but ultimately would abandon them and Forsaken all the way through Vault of Glass's remaster 2 years later. Hard mode raids were the raids we loved. They added some new twists to the mechanics and had the remaining raid loot we also wanted. They had ornaments to gather, levels to earn, loot to be had. It was a great time. In Destiny 2, Leviathan would carry on the tradition and share this, but prestige modes in Eater of Worlds and Spire of Stars were not received all that well for forcing loadouts and having modifiers. Nowadays, the community would froth at the mouth over prestige modifiers, but Bungie removed them and hard mode entirely, and now we have master raids, which completely miss the point and offer no reason to engage with them. For master, you get some extra materials and adept weapons that can drop with some enhanced perks, but the loot is random in a sandbox that I can just craft a god roll, and adept weapons serve no noticeable advantage.
Oh really? I did not know that.
You serious?
Bungie also had the opportunity to bring back the Age of Triumph ornaments in the raid
Actually, we just edit the title. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just changed the title a little bit so it's not that misleading, hopefully.
remasters for master mode, but decided not to. Abandoning hard mode and prestige mode, especially in terms of loot, has left the hardest PvE challenges with nothing worth raiding for. It's a shame. Honorable mention, since this one is very niche but made a huge impact, was the one that I believe a lot of players forgot about: box breathing and trench barrel's nerfs. Box breathing and trench barrel were both huge perks for the weapons in the Warmind DLC, like Ikelos sniper rifle and Ikelos shotgun. Back then, box breathing could be procced by holding down sights on an enemy for a couple of seconds, re-procced on enemies after about a second and a half, each for a 30% boost to damage. This perk was nerfed for all weapons except Whisper of the Worm for no reason. There was never anything game breaking about this perk, and Bungie seemed to include it in future rolls of weapons without any mention of ever buffing it again. It lasted for a few months of being strong, then out. Trench barrel, pushed with the Ikelos shotgun, became a Destiny staple since Warmind all the way through Forsaken. This shotgun could fire super fast. Bungie started by nerfing trench barrels so it was no longer on an infinite timer, but had to be reprocced via melee. Then they nerfed the speed of the shotgun and any other with this frame. Then trench barrel got a damage nerf later on. This perk isn't as bad as box breathing anymore, but it's still a head scratcher why Bungie nerfed these perks so hard when everyone agreed they were just plain fun. So far we've mentioned more niche mistakes Bungie has made, but one we can all agree on is Bungie's seemingly lack of focus on core activities. This was originally a spot for strike exclusives from skeleton keys the way players got accustomed to in Destiny 1, and even exclusives up until Forsaken. But then I quickly realized that neither Gambit or Crucible have had any focus in years either. Crucible and strikes were the lifeblood of Destiny, and Gambit started to become a main focus in Destiny 2. And it's nothing short of criminal that these activities get minimal attention every year, especially when there's supposed to be 3.0s and a focus to them that seems to completely miss why players even engage in these activities. I don't want you to add a payload to Lake of Shadows. I want to get a new weapon or armor piece that looks like the boss. No, I don't want you to make Gambit a more balanced experience. I want you to add maps and loot to the pool. And Crucible is literally the end game for most players. And I have no reason to bring my rolls in there if there's nothing to do. Not even new modes. Bungie needs to correct course here and bring the milk back home from the gas station. Just like the missing incentive for Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit, we have something that makes every Destiny veteran listen to the orbit music of Destiny 1 to soak in the feeling of nostalgia those Friday nights provided. Coming home from school or work and just have felt even better.
What's with the bad quality image? God. Wait, what? Vault of Glass used to give Galahad.
Oh my god.
More targeted ways to farm gear with stats you would want in the activities and materials to go with them. This meant that random dropped armor exotics were no longer random and out in the wild. No feeling of excitement to hopefully have one drop. They were now relegated to the Nightfalls. Then, in Beyond Light, a focused piece of armor was now in the Lost Sectors, and has been locked behind this ever since. Everyone agrees that weapon and armor RNG not existing in the game, to even some extent, is very predictable and boring. It lacks the excitement of being a game, and has become more like a job to get the exotics out of the Lost Sector. Not to mention, weapons are mostly behind quests too, with the only exotic weapon RNG coming from raids and dungeons. It just makes you wonder if Bungie will ever change their minds on this system, because right now, it's uninspired. Uninspired may describe the loot chase in regards to exotics and the core activities these days, but inspired was Activision and Bungie when they set out to make Destiny 2's vanilla game. Just not inspired in the way fans wanted. You see, esports was making huge strides in cohesion with the game developers and directors at the time of Destiny 2's arrival. Rainbow Six, PUBG, Call of Duty, and Overwatch were all getting the spotlight on the big stages, with Overwatch even getting TV deals on ESPN. This no doubt inspired the direction Bungie would take into
Well, thankfully Bungie did kind of plan a movie. It just hasn't got released yet.
Destiny 2. A more balanced approach isn't always the best if the pendulum swings too far in that direction. Bungie implemented double primary loadouts with no random rolls on weapons. And while the initial PvP balance was great, maps built around this 4v4 style and loadouts made the game stale, boring, and slow very quickly. This affected so much in the game's history that it led to something we will talk about later. I'm certain that the content of DLCs would be received better if it weren't for these changes. Just as I'm sure that PvP maps in Destiny 2 would become a lot more fun with maps designed around 6v6 instead of the 4v4 ways that they were originally. The sandbox would also have to adjust to 2 primaries and 1 heavy, and when Bungie eventually swapped things around, the content in the first year got rolled up and smoked faster than Robot Callus could blink. This directional pivot single-handedly tore away so many players from Destiny, and although Bungie is successful now, they never fully recovered all the lost players vanilla Destiny 2 unfortunately let go. Maybe not vanilla, but definitely the beginning of a new era of issues was the original implementation of stasis.
Are you kidding me? I go through all that and this nerd with his little ice ability freezes me.
This was a nightmare for Destiny, as you'd be frozen for just looking someone's direction, and it got many players to agree that stasis was a must-have. But wait, if you didn't own Beyond Light, you were screwed. Bungie would spend more than a year fixing stasis after the mistakes of its launch, and it's no wonder Strand didn't come out with Witch Queen and was pushed to Lightfall, since Bungie probably didn't want more hate for how broken a super was. Seriously, nothing will be as broken as stasis. I'm waiting for everyone to come back when something is definitely stronger than stasis in the future. Maybe this is my plan. You'll never know. One way to recover all of your losses is to make Eververse filled with all of the loot players were used to receiving in the game. You want a cosmetic that would be in a strike? Yeah, Tess never called up Fenchurch, and in the Curse of Osiris is where she went the most rampant. It was calculated back then that you'd need to spend thousands of dollars on RNG engrams to get every item in the game. Keep in mind that shaders were consumables to drop and not a one-time thing. There was no collections page, and there was no bad luck protection, meaning duplicates were in play. Bungie would pull this back in Forsaken, pushing every Eververse engram to drop for players so you'd never really have to spend money, just to go back to making Tests have all the desirable loot in Shadowkeep. Bungie would then say that they want to take Eververse and throw it into the game, which they did for the opening of Beyond Light by putting some cosmetics in the title grind and other activities, which was great, only to then silently go back on their word again. Eververse will always be a mistake in the way it's handled as long as the player base keeps spending money every time there is an ornament in the shop. It wouldn't be seen as much of a mistake if Bungie could throw some of these ornaments and other things into the activities, and it would go a long way to help the health of activities players once enjoyed. Guess it's time to bust out the credit card for a new finisher in the shop. Just like changes can affect the game's history, so can stagnation. And this mistake leaves every player wondering how they can step up their game. What do I mean? No leveling changes in years. At this point, most, if not all of you watching, and I, hate the leveling system, but want some sort of way to evolve it. Bungie has not changed this in a meaningful way since Forsaken, and with the artifact XP increasing your levels and activities, it just feels worse. The apparent rumor or leak is that Bungie will be doing away with leveling entirely, and the confirmed information is that the pinnacle level each DLC is the leveling you need for that year. Leveling was a core part of the fun in Destiny 1 all the way through Forsaken, as seeing something so much higher level than you made moments special and gave reason to engage with everything in the game. I think Bungie is making a mistake by abandoning leveling entirely when they did it so well in the past. And the stagnation goes to show that players want change, it's just not happening. Remember this?
Just let it out. Just let it out one.
How does this
Every quest!
Wait, what? I did not get that. Wait, what?
Stop! Test the game!
The door was one part of a bigger issue. While players flocked to Destiny for its secrets and puzzles, Bungie took the annoyances of the door and the Bastion from Corridors of Time, even the world events, as a sign they should abandon secret missions and events entirely. Since these moments, Bungie has done very little in the secret mission department and the more hyped up events, not something like a Telesto event. I fail to understand how some feedback on how to make them stronger turned into they don't want them. No, I don't count the Vexcalibur, the Dead Messenger, or the Revision Zero to be secret missions, since there is little to no build up to bring you into the mission or to get the exotic. Hopefully Bungie changes their minds and brings these missions, these puzzles, and these world events back to the game, since they're really the special moments in Destiny's history. An honorable mention that I debated adding to this list, but I know it's again very niche for a lot of players, is the server capacity overload on the day of Vow of the Disciple. It's not like Bungie intentionally put this in, but the servers did break to the point that people left with a bad taste in their mouth for an otherwise fantastic raid. Vow of the Disciple would not be looked at well, and the impacts of this raid made it so raid racing started on Friday mornings instead of Saturday mornings, meaning a lot of players couldn't get out of work or school to be able to raid race. It's a real shame. From unfortunate mistakes to mistakes that felt well planned out, we have the airborne effectiveness changes. This one had an impact on the entire year of Witch Queen. Airborne effectiveness was a new stat that nobody asked for, which gave your weapons less accuracy in midair.
Dude, that sound is loud.
What?
What?
What? Oh, I did not know that.
But he's gonna give the jump shot a try. I guess we're just testing. And what? We're gonna give the jump shot a try. I guess we're just testing. And what?
Shut it down. Shut it down.
That's it.
Okay. With airborne effectiveness came perks on weapons to enhance this
Oh,
stat.
damn.
And exotics like Stompies would be hit the hardest by airborne effectiveness. It made the sandbox of the game abandon some weapons for a more sit back and relax and spawn type of gameplay. Plus, this affected PvE too, as raids where you'd shoot enemies could no longer work the same as long as you were in the air. Airborne effectiveness has since been honed in a lot, but this had to be one of the biggest wastes of time in Destiny's history that would alter the game forever. This next one is a bit of a multi-problem tied into one, but the root of a lot of issues in Destiny come back to the free-to-play model introduced in Shadowkeep. Free-to-play on its own is not a mistake, as the Shadowkeep years showed so many players had a good time. Jumping into Red War, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind's content for free was more than a great bargain. But with free-to-play came issues like the Season Pass Fortnite model, which is still dragging to this day. It feels soulless when these ornaments and rewards could be pushed into activities instead of mindless grinding. Free-to-play would
Wait, what Fortnite model? Yeah?
also be a mistake because Bungie allowed it for trials with no anti-cheat, which meant Skynet was out and about in trials.
What the fuck?
Look at that! He's shooting a sniper like a machine gun. What the?
Just get a pick next round.
Run, Moira, run. Literally run. You can't do anything. You can't do anything.
7th column, baby.
He's. They're all cheating. They're like all cheating, bro. Bro, what is happening? Oh my god.
Oh my god, bro! Yeah, we all hide somewhere.
Oh, there's no anti-cheat in trial. Wait, what?
Hide.
Oh shit. Yeah, there.
To make matters worse, free-to-play is a confusing mess to this day, with a new light mission experience missing a ton of pieces, and most of the game making odd decisions on what is free and what is not free-to-play. This confusion for everyone, especially the free-to-play players, can be placed on one mistake in particular though. And finally, the one I'm sure you were all waiting for is here. Sunsetting. I will make a full video on the biggest mistake in Destiny history, which is no doubt sunsetting, because Bungie missed on almost every mark. Where to begin? In Destiny 1, Bungie did sunset weapons and armor for year 1 into year 2, but were quick to give the same, if not more, new weapons and armor in return. In Destiny 2, the player base was told time after time that sunsetting would prevent another Destiny 3 disaster, the way that Destiny 2 Vanilla had suffered, and that the game would get more stable and fresh content in return. What this has boiled down to is getting all the weapons and armor that I already grinded 3 years ago handed back, and advertised as new stuff. The pinnacle weapons that caused sunsetting are now mostly back in the game in some way. Maps were chosen at random to sunset, strikes removed at random, and of course the raids were hit the hardest. Retcons, lies, and not sticking to their guns has led sunsetting to become Bungie's largest mistake in studio history. No player or developer was left with a good taste in their mouth, and Bungie would walk back a lot of sunsetting, with exemption to seasonal content by Lightfall's release. It was a decision made on a whim without just delaying content by Lightfall's release.
Wait, what?
A lot of sunsetting, with exemption to seasonal content by
Huh? What do you mean exemption?
by Lightfall's release. It was a decision made on a whim without just delaying an expansion. And the biggest slap in the face might as well be the first mission of Beyond Light, giving players a soon-to-be sunset legendary sniper. I don't think sunsetting is a terrible idea on its own, and I think most players can understand sunsetting to a degree, but the way it was handled will always leave sour tastes. So that's the list. What do you guys think? Did I miss something? Maybe a list of 12 wins Bungie had to follow up this one, since I'm now just a Sour Patch Kid coming in with the sour and now I'm going to be sweet? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.
Wake up, babe. The latest Strand type game just dropped. Spoilers ahead for the worst story ever told. But like, you're an adult. Let's not do this. Also, I'm right about everything in this video. And if you disagree at any point, please close the video as a sign of mutual respect. This script is 13 pages long, so will everyone please get their weens out and turn to page 1. We open with the story so far.
Oh,
Destiny 1,
they
you know
do
how
not set,
everything in the
okay.
world is kind of ruined and stinky? That's because of the collapse TM. But why collapsing? Bad engineer? No, it was this thing, the witness, or as I like to call it, the brow. However, broken glass is inherently cool, and thank you for doing that. My brain lackey. Anyway, we thought the brow was the darkness, but it only uses the darkness.
Actually, based on the current week's seasonal stories, spoilers alert, yeah, he's basically like Guardians in the past before he decided to hate the light.
Big diff. It's Leviosa, you stupid bitch. Remember this chick from the last expansion? We technically killed her, but then her ghost got away. Uh-oh. So you're probably wondering where she's at. Wrong. Don't even think about it, and we will not be addressing that. Remember the final boss from Destiny 2's first raid 5 years ago, Callus, aka the Rich Thumb? This is him heading into surgery, about to be empowered by the most Callus, aka the Rich Thumb. This is him heading into surgery, about to be empowered by the most giga baddie this franchise has ever seen. After 5 years, I can't wait to see how his story ends, and I'm sure it will be cool and big. The great egg that's been sitting in our lap since Destiny 1 has moved slightly upwards. Everyone shut up, we're in space with the egg, and it's time for a space battle, directly in space with spaceships. These triangles are actually Emperor Palpatine's ships from Rise of Skywalker. They freelance on weekends. This is office window shot number 1 from the guy in charge of everything. It's pretty high octane. He's
Wait, what? I thought there's a helm.
is very invested in how these events play out and will definitely leave that room at least one time. By pointing one finger, the witness kills exactly 5 of our ships, and 5 was enough to piss off the traveler. It uses hyper beam, except the beam is made of dreams and shrubs and sparkles, which is very pretty but has no effect on the witness whatsoever. Bit of a bummer really, but everyone knows normal type moves have no effect on ghost type Pokemon. The witness also appears to possess the Reality Stone from Infinity War, which is surprising considering Marvel's recent decline at the box office. Then Captain Marvel crashes straight into this thing.
Wait, what?
Surprising considering Marvel's recent decline at the box office. Then Captain Marvel crashes straight into this thing. But she lived, thank God. I'm sure nothing else bad will happen to her this season. The witness puts a muzzle on the... But she lived, thank God. I'm sure nothing else bad will happen to her this season. The witness puts a muzzle on the Trav, no problem. Everything turns red to show us that's bad. Please try and keep up, you brainless little goblin. Upon touching our Trav, the brow has a vision of planet Neptune, and so begins mission number 1. So we climb aboard Callus's Trav, the brow has a vision of planet Neptune.
Oh, okay,
So
I get it
begins mission
now.
number 1. So we climb aboard Callus's ship, which is headed for Nepaduski. Nepotism. Nep World Park. But why go to? Let's hear it from the cranky old man who knows everything, but only when it's convenient to the story, Osiris.
Callus is after an artifact on Neptune, the Veil.
In the opening dialogue of Mission 1, we hear 2 very mysterious but supremely important words. The Veil. Every good mystery starts with a single loose thread. I can't wait to unravel this masterpiece. I try to hitch a ride like the previous cutscene. I've done it once, I can do it again. Osiris decides this masterpiece. I try to hitch a...
Wait, what? How do you... Huh? Huh? How?
Ride like the previous cutscene. I've done it once, I can do it again. Osiris decides we're at a theme park and it's his turn. Like the previous cutscene. I've done it once, I can do it again.
Wait, do you jump off the asteroid part of it?
Osiris decides we're at a theme park and it's his turn on the big boy ride.
Hurry up.
Those things safe.
Can't be there.
Yeah, so the story was actually all
Things safe.
Can't be there.
Yeah, so the story was actually all downhill from this moment and choked me with a hot dog. I was not expecting that at the time. I would also like to ride the undisputed king of most Guardian kills in Destiny, the car ball. There are sounds happening. The console wiggles a bit. Everything fades to black, and when we fade back in, we're standing at the place we went. I'm no Disney Imagineer, but the best part of any roller coaster is usually right between getting on and getting off the ride. We couldn't have gone 3P of the Lightspeed Crashland for old time's sake, dude. That's third person, sorry for the abbrev. I thought I accidentally skipped a cutscene. There was so little transition between these spaces. I was spamming escape, checking my friend's streams, like, well, hang on, what did they see? What was their point of view? Oh, it was just a fade to black. Shut up and welcome to Night City, a neon-soaked metropolis run by dystopian megacorps like Arasaka. Psych, that's Cyberpunk, and this is Destiny, you effing moron. They're very different. Do you even play games? We touch the mysterious sexy web for the first time and get a nice little Death Stranding tutorial. This is only the first mission, so that makes sense. I can't wait to use the subclass fully now that we've gotten the learning out of the way. Now we meet the coked up rookie and the grizzled my wife hasn't had sex with me in years mentor, or Nimbus and Rohan. The former keeps pushing Cabal with a surfboard like that's legitimate DPS, and the latter kills a Tormentor in one shot by blowing up a few barrels. We were playing on Legend difficulty, and that's an unreasonable amount of canister damage. Rohan lets Osiris out of his cage, and if it isn't 6 foot versus 5'11", a visual novel. Osiris reminds us that everyone's only objective should be to get to the Veil immediately, but he doesn't elaborate. So how important is it really? And then Rohan says this.
Not all of us have lives to spare.
Rohan doesn't have a ghost that can resurrect him. When he dies, he's died. Except Osiris is one of the only Guardians whose ghost also died. Resurrection mutually unavailable. And in conclusion, I have Ligma. Cloud Striders look like the cyberware from Cyberpunk was made by Pixar. Or like the Silver Surfer ran out of VFX budget. Cyberware from Cyber mutually.
Oh yeah, I just realized. Yeah, Osiris also doesn't have a ghost. So technically Rohan's wrong because Segura's dead. Oh. Yeah, next.
Unavailable, and in conclusion, I have Ligma. Cloud Striders look like the cyberware from Cyberpunk was made by Pixar. Or like the Silver Surfer ran out of VFX budget halfway through production. Or like the Gambit Chrome shader bugged out on a tall human, and they just went with it. I could keep going, but I respect you too much. Callus emerges from his bathtub surgery pod with the classic dip my right foot in gold only look. It's a rich person thing. Also a KFC chicken bucket hat and some exhaust pipes on his shoulders. This is what partnering with the most superior being in the universe gets you. A new outfit. And a new cup. The witness appears through a broken window of reality to ask if Callus has the Veil yet. Apparently the Veil is the next step to the final shape. Please buy our next expansion also. It's supposed to be the dramatic conclusion to the Light and Darkness saga. So when the witness says the Veil is the step before final shape, that seems kind of important. I can't wait to understand. Technically all these two colossal baddies did was stand in a room chatting, but I'm sure they'll do other stuff that's different from that also. Back at the Neon Tower, Nimbus says this.
And here you come, zipping around smacking bad guys with green stringy stuff. I mean, anyways. Enough about you.
Now at this point, alarm bells are going off in my head. That style of dialogue is feeling kind of childish and is trying kind of hard, but Finch said some cringe stuff here and there back in Witch Queen, and overall, I didn't mind him too much, so maybe it'll be like that. Apparently Nimbus is a Cloud Strider, one of 2 security guards defending Neo Muna. That's the city all around us. I said that earlier, but as we all know, a Google Doc is unchangeable. Now why are there only 2 Cloud Striders for an entire city? That ratio feels very specific. I'm sure they'll explain it soon. Then Nimbus says this about the Veil.
I'd do pretty much anything to keep the Veil and the people of Neo Muna safe.
So the Veil is as important as the safety of every person in the city. Let's add Nimbus to the list of people who seem to know what the Veil is while refusing to elaborate. I doubt this will grow over time. By the way, this one MacGuffin is the most important out of all the things. Okay, can you say what it is or why it matters? There's no time. Stop being selfish and evil, like Hitler. Instead, we get this line.
You know the Veil's in danger. I know where those big guys are headed. Let's go do some hero stuff.
As someone who's made a career out of trying desperately to be funny, this dialogue is trying desperately to be funny. And usually I wouldn't have a problem with that, except the tone of the cutscene moments before this was our universe is on fire, and the 2 capital B baddies of the franchise are moments from doing the thing, the bad thing. So Nimbus's one-liners being fired off like it's an open mic at a comedy club are feeling as misplaced as my faith in Bungie to tell a coherent story post-Witch Queen. Back to Osiris, who tells us this about Callus.
His pursuit of this object, the Veil, is of dire importance. If he gets to it first, Urgency is key.
The old ... Finally, someone gives us a decent explanation. 3 dots in a row tells me all the things. No further questions, Your Honor. Let's go to recess and touch ourselves. In the meantime, why don't we add Osiris to the list of people who seem to know what the veil is while refusing to elaborate? Then we hear this on a radio broadcast.
All citizens are promoted to active defense duties, effective immediately.
Now, the only problem with that is all citizens currently look like this. Yeah, those extremely transparent, vaguely humanoid glowy spots. That's because when Callus attacked, everyone fled to the cloud, like the iCloud cloud, the everyone signed up for Dropbox like their life depended on it cloud. You know I could go on. The people's physical bodies are all in cryopods, so unless this is the prologue to Fallout 4, they ain't coming to help. Someone should tell the radio guy that only the 2 Cloud Striders and a handful of Guardians showed up to defend the universe. I'd be surprised if we lost this one, but place your bets accordingly. Nimbus tells us we're very close to the Veil now, and Ghost says the closer we get, the more he doesn't feel so good, Mr. Stark. I doubt we need to pay attention to that though. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? So the witness possessed our ghost to FaceTime Callus. He doesn't acknowledge that we're standing right there, so I don't know if he can see us or... Callus does say this about the Veil though.
We have captured the Veil. Well, the area around the Veil.
The witness tells Callus to link the radial mast and destroy the Veil. What's the radial mast, question mark? Why, it's only the new MacGuffin for the next 4 missions. Or more specifically, a USB cable type V to T, because it's supposed to link the Veil to the Trav. For some reason, if the Veil gets plugged into the Trav, that's bad. So let's add Callus and the witness to the list of people who know what the Veil is. Back at HQ, we get a few somber sentences from Nimbus, disclosing that if Callus uses the radial MacGuff to blow the Veil, not in a fun way, then all Neomunians will die because their Google Drive is also tied directly to the Veil. We are closing in on a tangible definition for the big V, I can feel it. Nimbus finally adds that we don't need any explanation as to why that's bad.
I don't think you need a warlord translation for why that's bad.
Every time someone mentions the dire stakes regarding the Veil, there's also a hand wave and a wink, like we're all on the same page. And we are. Thank you for not wasting my time. But just when you thought Nimbus was appropriately respecting a tense story beat,
It's okay if we lean back and try a little trust fall. Well, if you drop us, it might be my funeral, but whatever, it'll be fun.
it's back to quirky, silly, I'm the best ever dialogue like Cade 6. But if he was never funny and never liked by anyone. So we're off to Callus's ship to destroy the radio. But if he was never funny and never liked by anyone. So
What?
we're off to Callus's ship to destroy the radial. Along the way, Rohan asks some great questions.
There's still a great deal we don't know. What is the radial mass capable of? How will it affect the Veil? And what is the witness planning?
Osiris rightly handwaves any possible explanation due to urgency. This is annoying and makes my pee-pee shrink. Because from Neomuna cutscene number 1, we've been pressured onward relentlessly without any satisfying context. Also notice that Rohan doesn't ask what the Veil is. That's because he already knows. He's going on the list. We find the radial USB, but uh-oh, it was a trap set by Callus. He welcomes us to this final test of strength. Osiris tells us to ignore his effing bloviating, which is an 11 out of 10 choice of...
Oh, it was a trap. I did not know that. I just played the story without understanding the story.
Credit where credit is belong. We kill all the things and get another Strand tutorial for 76 seconds. Callus summons an immune boss, and that is my least favorite type of shield. It looks like this is the end for us. Is what I would have said if Caitlyn, Callus's hot single daughter, didn't swoop in out of nowhere and save us. She somehow lowers the barrier that was previously impenetrable, probably with the power of daughterhood and sex. We Sparrow to safety. We get an expository cutscene where Caitlyn describes her father. I think this is Daddy Cal stealing food from his baby girl. Callus used to be the Cabal Emperor, or super important super guy, until he was overthrown by Gaul. You remember him from the vanilla Destiny 2 campaign like 5 years ago? If you missed that, they've since deleted it from the game, so just take my word for it, I guess. There's Daddy Cal partnering with the Witness again, and I still can't wait to see what sicko mode power he's acquired. I haven't really talked about Osiris as a character yet, but just vibing his demeanor. He's very panicked and cranky, but only all of the time. And those are certainly valid emotions to feel because your ghost is dead. But also stop it because it's kind of a bummer. I did hear this one interaction that I really liked from him though. So at one point Nimbus says this.
You know, when I first got the full set of mods, I was making friends with the ground every 5 minutes. It takes a second to find your balance sometimes.
And Osiris says,
So it does. I appreciate the reminder.
that was a certified gamer moment of sincere connection, delivered with a side of convincing emotion by Osiris's voice actor. Give us warm grandpa who appreciates every moment now that he can't resurrect anymore. Instead of grumpy old troglodyte fumbling his saggy balls loser that I know that was too harsh, but I really got carried away with the insult, and my backspace key is on leave, so I couldn't change it. This ungodly wall of text explains that the Cloud Arc, the Google Drive containing every Neo citizen, is infrastructure built on the Veil's power. If If you want answers around here, you need a master's degree in paying attention. Luckily, nothing gets past this laser focus. Nimbus says we should do this with the server.
If we can cycle the power, a hard reset like that should kick things back into gear.
We're literally turning it off and on. Troubleshooting is similar in the future. We start mission 4 and out of nowhere, the ghost does something I actually thought was forbidden. He asks for an explanation.
Rohan, I think we're still a little fuzzy here. What exactly is the cloud art?
So we could just ask this whole time if we wanted more information. I have multiple asking to have. Also, this is the first thing the ghost has needed clarification on this whole campaign. He's going on the list. How else do you explain such an abysmal lack of curiosity? Rohan then says this about the cloud arc.
It's our city's network, our infrastructure, our people, our defenses. Everything depends on it.
Yeah, that's too many things in one thing. How about we diversify some of the stuff out of that risky bundle? Anyway, wouldn't you know it, the Vex are currently stealing energy from that everything in one thing cloud reactor. The Vex have been around doing stuff this whole time, but it wasn't really worth mentioning up until now. The Vex are like ants, always up to something, but unless they're eroding the foundation of my house, I don't need to hear about it. We get another Strand tutorial for literally one jump. Cock and ball torture. We kill a bunch of Vex and reboot the reactor. But uh-oh, Augy, you fool. It was a trap, and now we're running from the Shadow Realm Legion. We get Strand for another 16 seconds. That's not a joke, by the way. I timed the footage every Strand tutorial. I am that petty, and I've been that petty. We kill a bunch of Shadow boys and use Strand for another 53 seconds to escape the building before big splot. Back at the tower, Osiris is fondling his sugar balls and goes into a rant about the light and darkness, saying we thought we were the good guys because we wielded the light, but actually light and dark aren't even moral or opposite because the traveler is a gardener. Therefore, the light is the domain of the physical, like forehead kisses, and the darkness is the domain of my butthole. No, the psychological. For example, dreams, nightmares, emotions, memory. Nimbus interrupts to say something about a river from an old nursery rhyme, and the conclusion is, we are that river. But mentioning the river causes Osiris' arm to get very excited. A nursery rhyme being a major breakthrough is fitting for this level of story. So obviously I have no qualifications as a writer and I dropped out of high school, but here's why Nimbus words are bad actually. It was this little pseudo cutscene monologue that forced me to articulate what I thought was the problem TM. So based on the way the subtitles are grouped, there's 10 lines of dialogue here. Am I a bad person for caring about this throwaway tower speech? Yes. Am I probably wrong on all accounts? Yes. Am I unqualified? Yes, but am I going to justify every criticism like my life depends on it? Also, yes. Let's get toxic and arrogant.
I talked with Osiris. You know, he gives off uptight museum volunteer vibes, but he's a nice guy when you catch him one-on-one.
This was a decent roast attempt, but the writers didn't commit enough to make it good. They soften the blow on either side, which waters it down too much, IMO. Instead of saying, you know, he gives off XYZ vibes, it should have been, yes, he's an uptight museum volunteer, but he's pretty nice one-on-one. Just by changing a few little words, that roast goes from weak Zoomer energy to getting obliterated live on television.
He got me thinking, which is a compliment I can give very few people.
Then we've already had a good joke, so we can cut line 2. I know a place for your Strand can stay as line 3.
Speaking of compliments, you never fail to amaze me, you know that? Everything that's come at us, you're just like, bam, boom, and suddenly whatever's coming at us ain't coming at us anymore. And you just keep doing it like it's nothing.
Lines 4, 5, and 6 are all super heavy, cringe pandering that's so overdone it loses all meaning. Just a simple, hey, it's been great since you got here, love having you on the team. Would have been fine.
The first time Rohan told me I did a good job, I'd given up hoping for it, and by the time I got it, I didn't need it. In hindsight, I think he did that on purpose, but whatever. I promised myself I'd do it different when I took over.
Nimbus shows us there is
It's like extending the number of words in an essay, and they did it with Nimbus.
some maturity in there with lines 7 and 8, and not just a bunch of flippant childish hubris that addresses everyone like they're 15 years old. So we've condensed 4, 5, and 6 into one line that's actually meaningful and not cringe. Line 7 is really solid. That's an adult speaking. Yay for adults talking. Line 8 is the first real telegraph to me that Nimbus might be the head cloud strider soon. And if you just ended the monologue there, I would be pondering that exact thing in the moment. But instead they wrote something about head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
The old man might think compliments go straight to your head, but if that helps you Strandify and us take down Callus, by all means, let it go to your head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Oh god.
Is this an episode of Peppa Pig? Let's just have Dora the Explorer voice the rest of this campaign, so at least it'll make sense tonally. What the F is going on here? So, in hindsight, we only needed 5 out of those 10 lines. I think efficiency really matters in writing, and when you're under-explaining the story whilst over-emphasizing jokes, and it's not a comedy, that just feels frustrating and abrasive. And if the jokes aren't landing on top of all that, it's just a train wreck in motion, and how did this even get made? made. Unfortunately, I feel like most of these critiques could probably also apply to a lot of the campaign dialogue just overall. Wrong tone, inefficient, unfunny, which I'll agree could be said of most of my videos. So we're off to get to the bottom of Strand, and not its OnlyFans, curvy bottom, sex appeal. Bottom. It's origin bottom. And this time we actually get almost 4 full minutes before it's ripped away. So we're over halfway through the campaign and we still can't handle more than a few minutes at a time with the main selling point of the expansion. The constant yo-yoing is starting to feel like my body weight as a long-term gamer. The justification for why they keep yanking it back off us isn't great either. Ghost is saying we need a breather. Osiris is saying stop being a little bitch. Except we aren't backing away, are we? It's being forcibly removed. So that dialogue rings very hollow. Like Bungie's Vidoc when they said you will feel like the tip of the spear. Does this look like the tip of the spear? Or does it look like my poopies burned my butt? Me out. We kind of get Strand back for the rest of the mission whilst constantly taking micro breaks for reasons, blah blah blah. Final boss down, and the mission that was all about Strand doesn't unlock it, but ends with Osiris saying we're still missing something and that he needs more time. I'm about to turn 30, Osiris, but unfortunately time comes for us all. Get it together, you effing guy. So if the whole thing is that nobody has Strand yet, and we as Guardians are discovering it like the darkness archaeologists we are, how come Strand shield on big guy? Why bad boy have Strand? So we cut to him doing a big thinky think at the puka pond.
Sagira, could you run some scans? Oh, right.
Yeah, Sagira's dead, my guy. These little space fishies are my only reason for existing now. And if I can't have one as a ghost shell, my destiny journey ends here. And then Rohan says something that tilts me. And we're back to the writing. But stay with me. I know it's arrogant to criticize a team of professional writers, having written nothing of value myself. But also, I'm right about this. Okay, here's the line.
I know I haven't been the easiest guest in your city.
Pain is not a hindrance. It simply reminds us we're still breathing. Still fighting.
To me, if a piece of dialogue is too obvious, boring, confusing, or cringe, it's bad writing. And I'm not talking about the delivery itself here, just the words. So when Rohan says pain is not a hindrance, it simply reminds us we're still breathing. Someone says, hey, Rohan should say something about pain, and he's a wise old mentor figure, so it should be profound. Something about pain actually being good and that it reminds us we're still breathing. And someone else said, perfect. No one else make any additional suggests. There's no time, we have to move on. So that's why I'm rating that dialogue obvious and boring out of 10. Maybe I can do better. So after thinking about it for 90 seconds, here's the line that I came up with. And if this line isn't better than the original, I'm wrong about everything and close this video immediately. So here's my replacement. What is pain but the shadow of joy? Now I think that's better, but I always think I'm right due to various childhood trauma and extremely high intellect. I just cannot accept that a team of professional writers couldn't think of anything more interesting than pain reminds us we're still breathing. The same can be said of other feelings. Love reminds us we're still breathing. So does laughter and anger and grief and Ebola. No, that's a different thing. So much of the narrative in this campaign just feels like the first draft that no one had time to iterate or improve in any way. So we're off to find the radial MacGuffin, but for real this time. On the way, we get not 1, not 2, but 3 micro strand tutorials totaling 2 minutes and 16 seconds like it's an end of year clearance sale. Then we reach a dead end and Rohan blasts through the wall with his big muscles and pointy board. But like, if he can just get through anything, why are we traversing this labyrinth of vents when he could have made a tunnel straight to the thing? The cosmic USB cable is attaching to the veil, so Rohan jumps aboard to stall it or unplug it. He doesn't seem very tech literate, so I do have my doubts about that. Then it crunches him like a AAA studio making a video game. Some generic boss battle DPS, we get Strand for another 41 seconds, but I'm too busy making gamer plays up in this bitch. Osiris says we can use Strand to destroy the radiator, but oopsie, our tummies hurt, LMAO. We're tired, no helpy help. So Rohan sacrifices himself to destroy the thing and theoretically save us for now. Nimbus asks us to pick up his core, but if their entire population is uploading their consciousness to the cloud, then why can't Rohan's be recovered from his core? In fact, when we get back to the tower, Nimbus is going to call it Rohan's quote-unquote drive. So what kind of ultra futuristic hard drive can't store human brain data? We're told Neomuna has like 10 times the technology humanity did during our golden age. You're telling me they don't know how to put a copy of someone's consciousness in the cloud? Will Control C, Control V in the future? Otherwise they're 50% less secure when one of the cyber boys goes down. It just feels like they have the technology to handle this problem, but it's too inconvenient to the plot, so it's glossed over. And maybe there are some good answers, but not here. But also, we don't know Yi Rohan. He was in literally 2 cutscenes and now he's dead, like we're supposed to care. You gotta get me to feel anything before you try and make me feel something. Humans are very complex like that. So we're back to Callie and Witty talking in a room. The same room from earlier. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but this is Callus's final cutscene, the end of a 5-year journey. And all that happens is that, similar to my dad, the witness calls him a pathetic, useless failure, and he bleeds out of his own face in excruciatingly high detail. We'll come back to Callus, but for now, let's move on to another ad of his own face.
Wait, what?
Similar to my dad, the witness calls him a pathetic, useless failure, and he bleeds out.
Oh, right, he's bleeding. Oh, I did not notice that.
His own face in excruciatingly high detail. We'll come back to Callus, but for now let's move on to another out of touch Nimbus monologue that pissed me off. The first half is making fun of Osiris for being obsessed with Strand, which is fine, except why are we even still talking about Strand when that should have been wrapped up by the end of the Strand mission at the latest? We're still talking about mastering Strand like it's this week's homework assignment. Meanwhile, the universe could end at any moment. Any perspective in chat. Then we end with this from Nimbus.
I think Rohan would have agreed, and so do I. Not because he's dead, and I automatically agree with a dead guy, although not like he's really in a position to argue, am I right?
The first half of the monologue was already so lighthearted and jovial that I'm drowning in the wannabe Marvel tone. So to close with this from Nimbus, when Rohan died basically 2 minutes earlier, just doesn't make sense and feels so disrespectful. Are there any stakes in this story or not? Does Nimbus care about a dead guy or not? Anything matter or no? Look, it's fine. I'm sure they adjust to a more appropriate tone in the next cutscene.
Systems are late, with 80% of defenses now operational. I'm full of fury, she's got an army, and you got magic green strings. Let's crush this Callus guy.
Yeah, this story hates you for caring. If you believe there was any tension or stakes at all, you're dumb and stupid and hate children and have killed innocent people. Remember the screaming urgency of the first few missions? Well, what if we dove into a Kung Fu Panda, Master Shifu training Po, Rocky Balboa montage where we finally unlock Strand after all this time? No Strand have yet. Yeah, so I'm unclear on the timing and purpose of that spectacle other than we're getting closer to the sexy web question mark. Just to remind you, this is a very serious and legitimate campaign. Osiris says this.
We have never struggled harder against a greater evil.
Thanks, Osiris. I couldn't agree more, and it almost didn't even need to be said. Anyway, this mission is another Strand tutorial where we kill the guy and don't unlock it. All good, happy to be here. And now for a dramatic recreation of my narrative expectation versus reality.
We must stop Callus.
So we're off to see the Veil, that thing we all understand and know about. Oh, I see, they've set us up for a cool gameplay moment by putting the Thresher here, and then we're gonna get to...
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Whoever put this Thresher here is deeply unlovable and probably thinks the Star Wars sequel trilogy was a cinematic masterpiece, including the part where Leia is an ice wizard. We kill about 1 million guys and end up at the vault, which is the last thing protecting the Veil. And it's still locked, so that's great, nothing to worry about. And it's open. Callus appeared in his bulbous sky head form and just blew it wide open. So onward to the Veil. I feel like a guy who's flown across the world to meet the hot chick he's been DMing online, praying she's real and not a guy named Jeremy. After 8 hours of campaign, the ghost finally says this.
That must be the Veil. It's massive.
At the risk of getting out of my depth, it appears to be a psychedelic jellyfish-like substance. Interestingly, no one makes a single comment about the Veil now that we are arrived. Not Osiris, not Nimbus. No one wants to elaborate on the Olympic-sized ayahuasca pool. Nothing in the Destiny universe has ever looked like this, and the characters that have been mouthing off all campaign have nothing to add. Well, touch me in my trauma spot. Anyway, it's final boss time, and is it just me, or does Callus look kind of goofy? The sassy turnaround and the bucket helmet. We're finally ready to see what it looks like to partner with the powerful universe being. But so far, it's a purple tracksuit and a new drill. Callus even says he's been waiting for this day a long time. He's done his waiting. 12 years of it. In Azkaban. No, but this is the climactic final battle, and so far he's basically a Colossus with a reskinned gun, although once you drain his health, he activates phase 2 by ripping his gun in half with his chonky fingies. That's pretty neat. But his new attack is the bulky equivalent of a red bar gladiator slash. I get it, making game do big hard, but this moment was the end of a 5-year villain arc, except he doesn't feel like he changed at all the whole time. Narratively and in game, he didn't seem any more powerful than usual. He kinda goes out with a whimper, like the firework I put up my beehole that time for science. I get that he's gluttonous and lazy, and so that's the point, Jez. He contributes nothing, and that's right in line with his character. But also be more interesting, you know what I mean? And he deserved better. It's his final word as he's dying that might be the only exception to everything I just said. Kameli. Who is that? Who is name said? Well, it turns out Bungie gave more nuance and depth to this character in his final word than the rest of this expansion combined. Kameli was probably his first wife and one true love. According to the Vanguard lore book that came with the Lightfall Collector's Edition, that's right, this storytelling pissed me off so much that I dove into the lore I've avoided for 8 years and got my own effing answers. Let me set the scene. This is Keitel talking to her father right before the coup mentioned in the animated cutscene earlier, where Callus was overthrown as emperor. She's struggling internally, trying to decide whether she wants to warn Callus about the upcoming betrayal. So she asks him one more time for answers about her mum, and he's never told her up until this point what happened to Kameli. From the book now. What of my mother? Didn't you want her back? Oh child. He looks into his wine, into his bone, and he begins to salivate with tears. She had to care for me when I was but a husk of a man. I was selfish. I was cold. I broke too much between us, and I cannot bear to hear him stumble any closer to grief. And she left, and then you found someone else. I quickly finish. Yes. Now, in that moment, she technically doesn't even believe her father. But why would she? He's heard her for too long by then. She's centuries old. Either way, this is the side of Callus I wish we could have seen. A husband and father who lives with the regret of losing his first love, who carries the weight of past mistakes on his back, and who turned to gluttony to escape the pain, struggling to be vulnerable and connect with his favorite daughter, who is herself on a knife's edge between loyalty and betrayal to her father. I can see why people get into lore, because that is an interesting story. Way more interesting than the gluttonous, power-hungry, selfish, one-dimensional bad guy portrayed in-game, who hasn't changed in the 5 years we've known him. One is a deeply flawed family man, and the other is every generic bad guy ever. If only you dared to bring some shades of grey to his character. Maybe I'm conflicted to kill him, knowing deep down was the heart of an evil, but maybe also kind father and husband. Instead, we're just told, here's an animal, he's evil, don't worry about it, don't feel anything. And so we don't, until his dying breath hints at a tragic story that will never be told, but was far more interesting. And just to get everyone excited and to agree, here's why lore doesn't count for me when I'm evaluating a story. The campaign is the story you actually told, and the lore is the story you could have. The movie is the story the director actually told, and the interview where he clarifies some loose ends is the story he could have. The book is the story the author actually told, and their blog posts are the story they could have. I know you're mad, but stay with me. Can the extra tweets, blog posts, interviews, and knickknacks be interesting? Yes. Can they clarify? Yes. Can they tell stories? Yes. Can they gargle my balls? Also yes. All the extracurricular stuff in the world doesn't change the fact that you told the story you could at the time, and that is the story I experienced. Now, obviously my case is airtight, but if you disagree, you're wrong. No, it's obviously fine. If Bungie explains nothing in the campaign and then releases a blog post or a new mission that fills in all the gaps, and for you that counts as a story well told, then I salute you, and please pray for me. They are going to explain what the Veil is in some form or another, but that won't fix the narrative failure of Lightfall for me. Back to the campaign. After we kill Callus, RIP Big Daddy, our ghost says this.
Hey, do you guys feel that?
Warning us way ahead of time that something is wrong, so hopefully we're on high alert, seeing as a few cutscenes ago, he was chatting with Supreme Bad Guy number 2 while possessed by Supreme Bad Guy number 1. But let's see what happens. Caitlin arrives and has kind of a moment with her dead father, saying, no more running away, rest now. There's a somber tone, and rightfully so with the backstory I dug from the ancient texts. Thankfully, Nimbus is actually respectful and doesn't ruin—
The uglier they are, the harder they fall, right? No?
Poison me or at least paralyze me so I can escape the pain of being alive. That may have been the most tone-deaf line of dialogue ever delivered through this medium. The ghost takes off weirdly, speaking in a possessed voice. We stare blankly, even though we've already seen this. Osiris screams, get your ghost, and we stare blankly. The ghost says something, and we stare blankly. Nimbus yells something, and we stare blankly. Back to Ghost, we stare blankly. Then Cardle yells, and we finally unfreeze. But instead of just grappling the ghost toward us with Strand, we pull out the Kvostov, an 8-year-old gun I haven't touched since my mother's womb. I had between 3 and 30 guns on me, depending on how full my inventory was, but instead, they went with that, probably for immersion, and that was a good call. A giant beam connects to the Trav, and Nimbus grabs the ghost at the speed of light, sparing us from pulling the trig. Why that couldn't have been done any earlier is also a mystery. Our ghost is fine, but then Cardle says,
We just lost.
We page back to Zavala, who hasn't left what may as well be his office for the entirety of this world-ending event. The witness is also in the same spot we left it in that first cutscene. Like no time has passed for this entire expansion. Almost like everything in between these two cutscenes was filler content and didn't matter at all. Anyway, the pyramid ships have made a sun emoji with the Traveler. Maybe that's the final shape. Feels a bit lowbrow, so I hope I'm wrong on that. The witness draws what appears to be a triangular door colored like the Veil, sends the ships in, and crosses maybe to the inside of our big egg. We fade to black with no actual explanation, and all the blood is rushing to my tits. Other than Zavala saying this back at the tower.
The Traveler, gone. Should I feel humbled by this sacrifice? Relieved that it can't grant any more of our enemies the light?
I have so many questions. How do you know it's gone? How is that a sacrifice? How do you know it can't grant the light anymore? Why are you smiling if things are bad? Maybe Ikora will clear things up for us?
The Traveler is gone. The Witness has transformed the Traveler and gone somewhere we cannot follow.
How do you know it's gone? What transformation specifically? Why can't we follow it in there? Why are you doing a My Face is Tired Joker impression like this is Mass Effect Andromeda?
Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything.
Once again, the NPCs all seem to know what's happening while refusing to elaborate. They're like, well, you saw it, right? So we all know. Then Ikora gives us final instructions.
Work with the Cloud Striders. Learn what you can about the Veil.
First of all, it's Cloud Strider. There's only one left. Pay attention. Oh, they're going down, kind of insensitive. And second of all, everyone else already knows what the veil is, so just ask literally anyone else. Much like me for the entirety of my teenage years, it feels like no one really moved or did anything. From start to end, the witness standing in one place. Bad guys talking, standing in one place. All the people in charge, standing in one place. Osiris lands and is standing in one place, though he gets a pass, obviously. All citizens glowing vaguely in one place. The only people that really get out there are Keitel, Nimbus, and Rohan. Keitel's my elephant mummy, so please step on me, uwu. Rohan is dead, but also who even? And Nimbus should have— Keitel's my elephant mummy, so please step on me, uwu. Rohan is dead, but also who even? And Nimbus should have died, but Bungie is punishing us all because we're toxic and ungrateful, probably. This was supposed to be the penultimate expansion before the final conclusion of the Light and Darkness saga, but instead we got an 8-hour Strand tutorial and probably the worst Destiny story ever told. I get Bungie was going for an 80s action movie vibe, but just like those Power Rangers in Infinity War, we were destined to lose this one. That's what the penultimate chapter of a story is. And a hallmark of the 80s action genre is that the heroes ultimately prevail, not lose with no explanation. This was always a square peg and a round hole. And I know about holes because I have sex a lot and my wife doesn't watch these videos. The Taken King was Destiny 1's darling expansion. Released 7.5 years ago, it was critically acclaimed and introduced 3 new subclasses. And when specifically did we unlock those subclasses? In between the first and second mission, and they never took them back. Much like me and Genital Warts, we just had them. Lightfall is when Destiny 2 hit its highest concurrent players ever on Steam, and probably the other platforms also. Telling a bad story now is just such an effing bummer. How many new players have bounced off the game this expansion because shooting was fun, but what is going on even? Obviously, there was a lot of strong evidence that Strand was supposed to release with Witch Queen, but got cut for mysterious and totally ethical development reasons. Evidence including, but not limited to, Witch Queen Green, Strand Green. But hearing a director got changed 3 times throughout production doesn't take away the sting of a bad film. Narratively, it's okay to ask some questions and not give all answers. But if you're gonna make me eat vegetable, also feed me some actual food. Otherwise, I hate you. Lost, the TV series from my teenagehood, gave me lots of vegetables, but it also gave me candy. Candy is answers in this metaphor. And Candice dick fit? No, I'm kidding. At the end of the day, I'm tired. And this is a video game, and none of it matters. But also I love art and wanted the thing I care about to be good. As an adult, feeling stuff can be hard, but the magic of great art is that the creator gets to transfer a feeling. That's the beauty of being human. We can make so others can feel. Except if your thing sucks. That's like putting diarrhea in a bowl. Avoid that if possible. If not, try again, because everyone makes diarrhea sometimes. Unless you're playing Scrabble, in which case, it's very rare to get all those letters at the same time. Very valuable though. What I'm trying to say is good art is really hard, and some of us never make it, but we're desperate to suck all its honey. I don't know, this metaphor is kind of getting away from me. I hope you felt something while watching this video, even a giggle. Did you giggle at least one time? If you didn't, then effing hell, I made some effing diarrhea.
Subscribe for more green screen rants. Even though it does literally nothing, it's a vanity metric, but I will feel slightly better about myself, so there is that. What, you thought I was just gonna end the video?
Damn. Oh god. Very interesting way to deliver a video. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Should I do some fishing? Fishing. Or I should just I don't like it when downstairs has construction and everywhere else probably, but whatever. It's really random. You know what, I'm just gonna do fishing. Yep. I don't actually know where is it. Right. Let's do some fishing. Even though I don't really know what to do in the game. Give me a second. Yep. It was so laggy, the game just glitched. I mean, not a game. OBS in general, whatever. I'm just gonna use solo subclass, I guess. No, it matters. Whatever. What's the place? Oh, it's this one. So it's EDZ again. Yay. Outskirts. Looks like there's a public event soon. Oh my god, hi, P, welcome to the stream, good evening. How's your day? Also, how's it been? It's been like 2 weeks or something since I last streamed. The fact that the game is running at like what, 14 FPS? Wow, so efficient. I love this game so much. Why can't I run it at better FPS? Oh whoa. God damn it. Wait, I'm supposed to go there, right? Yeah. Yay. I love this game so much, the FPS is awesome. Yeah, I kinda actually stream in 1080p, I realized. I have to stream at like 720p in order to not lag like this. Yeah. Oh my god, there's actually wow. It actually looks kind of smooth on stream. I don't know why it looks differently. No, it's not smooth. It's just weird. Just ended work, got to figure dinner in a bit. How's your day? My day, I had the SIM orientation and enrollment earlier in the morning, so it was good, I guess. I bet I'm not gonna be able to fish properly. And yeah, I actually forgot to mention I got into SIM. School starting on 1st July. Yay. I'm going to try fishing one time. If it doesn't work, I'm ending the stream to restart the stream. And then, 720p it is. Because I don't think I can fish like this. I also forgot to turn down my... Oh, perfect catch, okay. That's good, I guess. It's not that bad. I just get painful FPS. Thanks for the congrats. Also, I don't think 2 people fishing is gonna do anything. I'm just fishing because I got 500 bait and I don't know what to do with those 500 bait.
All forces in the field. A catch has been reported en route to an ether drop.
Hey, let's see if I can play the public event with this terrible FPS. I'll probably lose, I'll probably miss my shots by like all of them or something. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm running slowly or I'm running really fast right now. It's just weird. Wait. I swear it's not my FPS, it's just me having slow reaction time. Wow, how fun is that? Anyways, Oh hi, more fallen. Wait, is that a hole? Oh. Oh, this is the ball of the shit. I can't even jump properly because it's just weird. Let me skip the public event, it's very boring. Oh, I'm gonna die from that. Okay. Oh crap. Looks fun.
Look at those folk, acting like they own this place.
Take down that servitor.
Wow. Oh my god. I was just about to say I'd be surprised if Penny even shoot something. Wow, so useful. Look at that guy. Or is the FPS drop actually benefiting? Oh, I'm standing on something. Haha, that's funny. Oh god. Okay. This is really oof. Fuck me. Fuck's sake. I mean, it's not like grenades, so I don't have to worry about it. But then... Oh, it actually took a while to drop the... Nice. Wow, I got the damage before it exploded. That's so nice. I'm gonna die, right? Oh yes. I wonder what people in the world see me as. Like, am I just running super slowly, or am I just teleporting in the world or something like this? Oh shit, I missed that shot. Wow. Wow, okay. Okay, I'm gonna run away from this. Wow. Let's see if I can do a finisher just for fun. Yay, that works. Event ends, please end the event. I'm back on the rock. Wow. Nice. It's not even a rose, a statue. Definitely gonna spawn again. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. Hmm. Yeah, there's no one else fishing. There's no point fishing here. Actually, yeah. Just I'm playing one of those like games that behave like Hogwarts Legacy, like extremely laggy game. Boom. Level high value target low. Oh no, they're all just bouncing. Ooh, so bouncy. Bouncy orb. Now I wonder if it's my FPS that's causing the orb to be so bouncy. Nope, it's bouncy. It's just very bouncy. Oh, now it stopped bouncing. Please bounce more. Awesome. Oh, just this one. Nice. It kind of feels like everything's in slow motion, but actually very fast at the same time. A glimmer mining crew, yay! It feels so weird killing things here. Wow. God. Nice.
Tricky business, mining glimmer without a drill. Good work.
Cool. Actually, let me go in orbit. I can't really play with this FPS. Wait, let me just cast myself down. Surprisingly okay FPS in the orbit. Oh my god. Whatever. It shows that I can't actually stream Destiny 2 in 1080p. Whatever. going time. Right, so I'm actually gonna go take a nap before dinner, so who should I raid? Who's even streaming at this time of the day? Oh god. How do I search? Oh, Jack Crow is streaming. Okay. I'll just raid that crow then. It's so random. Raid Twisted Snakes, I think. Is it Twisted Snakes? Yes, it is Twisted Snakes. Oh my god, so hard to... Fuck. Is mine. Let's just shout out first. And then raid this guy. Okay, so thanks for coming by, thanks for watching, thanks for the lurks, thanks for yeah yeah, my god, I forgot what to say. Yes, thanks. See you next stream, most likely either a gaming stream or a study stream or work stream, whatever. I'll keep you updated on the Twitter or on the Discord. You can always do !Discord to look into the... What look into? To join the Discord server, yes. To get the link to join the Discord server. Thanks for watching. Thanks, yeah. Anyways, there's a raid message, I forgot about that, and for subscribers also it's a sub rate or something, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Twisted Snakes is a Singaporean streamer and furry, and LIFC chairman who streams mostly coding streams and just chatting streams. Yeah, okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks, bye.